Hello. Do you know how to write an essay in IELTS, the academic module that lists advantages and disadvantages? Today I'll show you how. Here is a typical essay question. The amount of music available online has increased significantly. This is having an effect on CD and concert sales. Do you think the benefits of having more music online are greater than the disadvantages? Brainstorming and planning is important, even when you only have 40 minutes. Have a look at this rather impressive students' brainstorming. Obviously, I've made it look good for you. At this stage, you want to just think of as many topics as possible. So the topic was music on the internet. So when you think of this topic, what comes into your mind? It might be theft, that people can steal music easily. Or, on a positive side, that everybody is able to access more different types of music. Also, anybody can become famous. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. So you want to just think of as many topics as possible and then use your thinking map. Let me just go back. This is what I call the thinking map. Use your thinking map to plan your paragraphs. So, in my introduction, because the essay asked me for my opinion, I'm going to say, I think music online is inevitable and CD sales will drop down and there's nothing we can do to avoid it. Inevitable. In my first main body paragraph, I'm going to discuss both the advantages and disadvantages for the musicians, the artists. And I've chosen 2 topics from my thinking map. In my second main body, I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages for the music buyers, the listeners, the consumers. And because I'm just planning and I only have 1 or 2 minutes to do my planning, I haven't thought of another topic yet, but that's okay. I'm hoping later on in half an hour I can think of something. So I've done my brainstorming, I've done my planning, and now I need to write my introduction. I won't read all of it. Basically, at the beginning, you have background information. Let's read from the red sentence. The red sentence says the topic in another way, and then the last sentence is my thesis statement, my opinion. Let's begin. This poses some benefits for the musicians and their fans alike, but it brings many more disadvantages for the artists themselves. In my view, this trend toward downloading and buying music online was inevitable, and now authorities and the music industry have to figure out how to prevent issues of music piracy. We'll have a look at the vocabulary later, but remember, in an introduction there are always 3 clear parts. Background information, paraphrase the essay question, and then your thesis statement. Here is body paragraph 1. Remember my plan. This one has to be about musicians. There are several reasons why musicians might welcome the presence of their music online. I'll give you a chance to read it. Just press pause on the video and take your time. So, what did you notice? Did you notice that this paragraph lists advantages and disadvantages? but the main topic is the musicians. And also notice the excellent linking, however, to switch to the other side. You can also see words like opposite and problem to show I'm talking about the downsides. Do you remember the plan? First body, benefits and disadvantages for musicians. Second body paragraph, the benefits and disadvantages for the consumers. As for the music lovers, they relish the chance to get their hands on their favourite artist without even leaving their home. So everything matches excellently. Again, I start with the advantages, and here, but are there any drawbacks, I go to a possible disadvantage. Again, you can pause the video and read this paragraph carefully. Let's go to the conclusion. This essay has listed some of the advantages and disadvantages of having music available online, both for the musicians and their fans. It seems that the benefits exceed any drawbacks for the consumers, although in the end they may miss out too because their favourite artist could struggle to get airplay on the internet. After analysing this situation, I believe that the music industry should work harder to solve the theft and piracy issues that prevent musicians from making a living from their art. Now, I must be honest, this conclusion is much longer than you need to write in IELTS. You could also write a much simpler conclusion like this. This essay has listed some of the advantages and disadvantages of having music available online. It seems that the benefits exceed any drawbacks for the consumers, although for the musicians, their situation could get harder and harder. So, I believe that the music industry should work harder to solve the theft and piracy issues. And that might be an easier one. Can you find where the student repeats the thesis statement? This is, look at my word here, this is essential in an IELTS essay. So here, this grey sentence repeats some of the introduction. If you don't do this, you will get a low score for coherence. So why is this essay so good? As I just showed you, firstly, the conclusion matches the thesis statement. Number 2, the vocabulary is excellent and has a large variety. And number 3, the linking techniques are excellent and are all used appropriately. Number 1, remember, the thesis statement matches the conclusion. Take your time and compare the red words and the blue words. Can you see how well they match? But it's not copying. What was the second great feature? That's right, a variety of vocabulary. Look at the middle column here. How many words do you know for listeners? Music lovers, fans, people who buy music use a relative clause if you can't think of any other words. And what was number 3? The linking techniques. This is just a small part of the essay. Look at the topic sentence, the pronoun there, the sentence adverb initially, so, for example, and following on from this and repeat the previous point. These are all excellent techniques to link and give you the best chance to get a high score in coherence. Here is another example. So you need to use a mixture of adverbs, pronouns, conjunctions, relative clauses, and other techniques that hopefully your teachers have shown you. You can pause the video now and read this one. Can you find any adverbs or sentence adverbs, conjunctions, pronouns? This is a key skill to get a high score. So what did you learn in this video? Remember, I'm showing you an advantage-disadvantage essay with some opinion. Here was the topic. Firstly, you must list both advantages and disadvantages to get a good score. You must brainstorm and plan. Your thesis statement and your conclusion should match. And to get a high score, use a variety of vocabulary. And of course, linking techniques. I really hope you've learnt a lot and can write now an excellent advantage-disadvantage essay with your opinion.